won't you just? Now won't you just? So come on.
We're cruising down 45. We're cruising down 45. So won't you take a ride?
Just come on.
With me, baby. We're cruising down 45. We're cruising down 45. We're cruising down 45.
I'm on 45.
Boy, J-45, Miss Keisha City, everything pretty. The host of the Gulf Coast, the Alabama hippie, east of the muddy Mississippi, right here. J-45 Live Podcast. This is the very first show. This is a very historical moment with my co-host, Bama Rose, and we keep it real and mobile on the People's Podcast, 45 Live Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. I got my guest, Patricia Law, here today. And she's a community activist and entrepreneur. But before we get the show started, I want to tell the world that I always had a vision to do a show ever since I was in high school. And I've been doing podcasts, here and there for like the last 10 years. But this is my first independent podcast platform, and I'm very honored to be doing it on alabamahiphopradio. I want to salute Dirty Dan for reaching out to me to let me be a part of this network. And what 45 Live Podcast will be talking about is politics, culture, lifestyle, entrepreneurship, among other things, to showcase what we have in our community. Because we have a lot of negativity that the media shows, but on this platform we want to show all the positivity we can as far as business owners, community activists, things of that nature. One of my biggest concerns is mass incarceration and police brutality. I'm a community activist. Miss Patricia Law, she's a community activist, and she's going to get more into that as we go deep off into the show. Just want to know how y'all feel, what content we need to talk about, what dialogue that we need, because we can talk about a lot of things like the youth violence is getting out of hand. We can talk about the corruption that's going on in the city, which we're going to be getting in depth with that later on in the show. So, Bama Rose, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing
my co-host, you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here.
That's what's up.
Thank you for Miss Patricia for being here. Can't wait to address these problems that's going on. We need more people like herself to step up, and partake in what's going on inside of Mobile, Alabama, so therefore change can come.
Absolutely. So, Patricia Law, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You are an entrepreneur, you are a community activist, and tell the people a little bit more about yourself that I, didn't cover.
Some of you may know me already. I'm a local business owner. I've been in the flower business for over 20 years. As a master florist, one of my passions is definitely to inspire others to become entrepreneurs as well. Many of our people are blessed with gifts and talents that we sit on. And one of the things that I definitely want to bring to the surface tonight is that we have to identify those individuals that have these gifts. We have family members that have passed down recipes and different gifts and talents that we take for granted, and many of us are sitting on those opportunities that could afford you a better lifestyle. So, I do feel as if those of us that work always have something on the side that also pacifies you, that will also bring in, more income. And especially these days with the price of food, gas, you name it, you definitely want to have multiple streams of income for sure.
Absolutely. And while you say that, everything's going up but the working wages. Some people have to resort to illegal activity just to make it in the household. Those are the type of content, the type of dialogue that we will be talking about on this show, because it's almost like they say, a trap. You know what I'm saying? You go out there, you sell a little this, that, and the other. You get caught up, you in the system, you know. And now you on the master plantation, which is the penitentiary now, modern day slavery, and you working for pennies an hour. You know, slavery never ended, and that's what we want to educate to our people. Our topic tonight is going to be about incarceration, police brutality, and the corruption that's going within the city of Mobile with the police department. You know, if you've been watching news, Chief Prime was fired, and also Commander Levy was fired. But you got police officers that's doing all kind of traffic violation, tearing up the police car that us, the taxpayers, pay for, and they still got them on the force. So make it make sense. Why are these officers still on the force? Even vehicular homicide. You know, it's been 2 motorcyclists that's been killed by the Mobile Police Department, and they're still on the force. That is a real public safety concern. So I have lots of concerns that I even address the city council, and they act nonchalant. They'll say a little something, but if I'm a concerned citizen, why are y'all not advocating for the citizens like you should if we have a concern? You know, even with police brutality, you know, the 16-year-old that got killed just for marijuana, or Jawan Dallas, who was tased to death. They won't even show the video. That's been over a year ago. They won't show it to the public because they know it'll be an outrage and everything. And Miss Patricia Law, me, her, Huggy Bear, and a host of others with the Dallas family, we've been advocating that Jawan Dallas get justice. And we're not going to give up until we get justice for Jawan, because they slowly but surely trying to sweep it under the rug, the administration of the city of Mobile. But I believe things are going to start coming to the light, you know, because I believe Commander Levy and Chief Prime are ready to talk. Well, how you feel about that, Patricia, Miss Law?
Well, I'm in agreement with you. I think if we as a people, we've got to get smart. You know, we can't stay on the path that we've been on. It's by design that many of us are having to hustle, so if you will, and create other incomes by selling drugs and things of that nature. And it's all about a trap. That's a trap. I mean, we're smarter than that. We're bigger than that. So we also have to hold ourselves accountable. You know, basically, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and getting the same old results, then you have to look at the person in the mirror at that point.
Right.
So collectively, I would love to see our people as a community to come together and stop playing the role that has been fed to us to work against one another, to be negative. You know, there's so many angles that we fall in, traps that we fall into. So I think it's time for us in 2024, moving into 2025, that we come alive on J-45 show and get serious about our conditions.
Right.
You know, just look out all we have to do is look out the front door and see so much of despair and blight and I was in an area in the city just yesterday, and I couldn't believe that people actually live in the conditions that they're living in. So I understand if you've been oppressed for so long, you start believing that that's the way it's supposed to be. And trust me, that is not the way it's supposed to be. But the only way that we're going to rise above that is to see what the issues are and work together. Get behind people that are trying to make a difference.
Absolutely. Another concern of mine is the youth violence that's been going on recently. The 16-year-old young man shot his brother that was 12 years old. We got 2 teens that they just arrested for those random shootings in one night that took the life of a 60-year-old elderly lady in her home while she was comfortably sleeping in her home. It's like you're not even comfortable in your own homestead, and it's sad. Bama Rose, what solutions do you think we should have to help keep this youth violence down? Like any prevention, tactics.
Well, first of all, you have to start with home. That's first of
Absolutely.
all. And parents should not be afraid to ask for help. If you know that you do not know, ask for help. And people that's in leadership, people, maybe if you're a school teacher, you're a principal, you're a social worker, people should not use those positions to belittle people or make them feel less than, but use the resources that has been given to them to bring those people up to par. So therefore, their children don't end up in a system that was created to enslave them. If we do this, then therefore we'll be working together. But like I said, it started at home. But in Mobile, Alabama, it's starting in the system. Because this system has been designed to control our kids, to keep them down. So therefore, a black man or a black woman do not elevate. It's full of evil and it's full of hatred, is what it is. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell y'all this. Billy can have done the same thing Lil Run did. But Billy family can call certain people. And Billy family will be able to cover up what Billy did.
Absolutely.
Run is going to have to take accountability because his mother does not have what it takes in order to get her child out of that position. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it keep going on, and it keep going on, and it keep going on. And what I've learned is black people, and it's just not about black and brown, it's about people itself. People really need to realize who they are. They're not a Jordan tennis shoe. They're not a PlayStation game. They're not these big fancy jewelry, nice cars and rims. They are a person. And they need to realize the foundation of life is family, love, loving one another, helping one another, being there. And we lost it. Back when we was growing up, it was all about love. You mess with my cousin or whatever, we stuck together. But these days, it's nothing about that. I don't want to get too much off of the subject because I run with it. But the problem is, in Mobile, Alabama, is we have a corrupt justice system.
Yes, we do.
Starting from the judges, from the district attorneys, to the mayor, the lawyers. We have lawyers, our color, walk around with these suit and ties on, going to work, but they ain't going to work. You see what I'm saying? And like I said before, a lot of these grandparents and stuff, they done prayed for their kids to have a better life and to be in positions like this. And God has allowed it, but he ain't allow it for you to go and act like the other people. He allowed it so when you get in a position, you can stand up and say, hey, not today. Y'all wrote this out. This is how we supposed to do it. We're going to do it like this. We're not going to gather in a room and see what's best for the system. We're going to gather in a room and see what's best for this child because he's an individual just like everybody else. And they fail to do that, But until we get smart enough, like Miss Patricia said, we have to be smart, Stop going against one another. Stop thinking that everybody's always out to get you when they just trying to give you some sound advice because, hey, I've been there. I'm just trying to bring you out of some stuff, But I can't bring you out of nothing if you're not want to hear or you want to continue to do something. I know everybody want to see their kids in nice clothes and nice shoes and all of that. But first, teach them principles of life. And that's to love, don't steal. The commandments what God wrote. He wrote those for us to live by. Teach those values in life, and I promise you, everything else will follow.
All right, Ms. Law, would you like to elaborate on that?
I'd like to elaborate on that. You're absolutely right. The system is so extremely corrupt. I act as the criminal justice chair for the NAACP here in Mobile. Just last week, I took an elderly lady to court regarding her son who's constantly in and out of trouble. And before he came out, and I saw countless black men, one behind another, coming out chained up like a slave with shackles on your feet, shackles on your arm, and they're standing there to have a lawyer, whether he's black or white, to represent them. And primarily, I went to the lawyer's office with this elderly lady. They had no file prepared for her son. I basically had to ask certain questions pertaining to, you've got your monies, your retainer, why don't you have a file set up for him with his information, building his case to try to help this person. And they had nothing prepared. His secretaries were dysfunctional, they were out of order. So I say all of that to say, when you go out here and you get in this trouble, you are nothing but a file on a stack of files up to here, because they are arresting brothers, particularly taking the black seed out of the home, because let's face it, you know, African American men, you are wonderful, you are beautiful, but if you don't realize that and see that for yourselves, you are hated primarily because of your melanin skin, your structure, your heritage,
your origin,
from the days that Jesus walked the earth.
Before then, you know.
So as you rock your locks and your dreadlocks or what have you, you are basically a replica of what Jesus suffered on this earth.
Come on now.
And that's one of the reasons why you are so hated. So with that being said,
That put chills on me.
stop it. I see these Mexicans out here getting all these contracts,
Come on
doing
now.
all this work on skills that you know you possess.
Right.
But when you want to get drunk when you get your paycheck, you want to get high when you get your paycheck, you have to keep your priorities in line in order to build and in order to grow. So we understand that many of the situations that you have to deal with have been, doors have been slammed in your face, but that does not mean you can't open another door.
Right.
And we can open more doors collectively if we stick together, because we as black women, we are behind you 100%. We need our men to stand up and be fearless.
Let me elaborate on that. You got some women say they don't even need men, black women. How you feel about that negative statement?
Baloney.
But they out here, I don't need no man. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lie.
And that's because of bitterness. Because they've been done wrong by someone or multiple of men, and they just feel like they don't want a man around. I know some women, they rather have children than to get married. You know.
They lying.
Well, you know, that's what I hear, and that's what I see on social media.
They lying.
There's a lot of bitter women out here that say they don't
be
even
bitter,
need no
but
man.
at the end of the day, everybody wants somebody. Women are created to love. That's our passion.
To nurture.
Right.
Yeah.
And women want that. I mean, they can say, well, I don't like him or he did this or whatever. But in the back of their mind, 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that they holding on to. Why they say, it don't be that I don't want a man, is I don't want that man. I'm just saying, that's how women get down. You know, I'm not gonna, women, no, ain't no woman gonna just sit there and say, I don't need no man, I don't want no man. No, it's just that I don't need or want that man.
Well, I see in this Generation Z, Gen Z is what they call it for short, a lot of masculine women want to be men. You know, that's the next
that's
generation.
different, honey.
I'm just saying, they just feel like, I don't need a man, I can help my own, you know. And, you know, that they're soft, they're not soft, they don't want to be nurturers. They think a man has the upper hand on everything. You know.
To elaborate on that, the system has also sort of set that stage.
Right.
You know, with
Now you're right about
welfare,
that. Right.
You know,
Okay.
Section 8.
I'm glad
you know,
yeah.
we're gonna give you these little trinkets if you keep the black man
Out the house.
out on the street.
Come on
so
now.
all of that plays a part in
Teach.
the
Right about that.
overall
Teach.
trap
You right about
of
that.
pushing our brothers out there
That's true.
to make bad decisions. Okay, you putting the dope out here. You got some of these cops out here, I'm sure, are pretty crooked. And whenever they pulling these brothers over for whatever reason, and they finding the dope in the cars or whatever, they putting it right back out here. Because when I drive around the city and I see some of these cop cars parked in certain neighborhoods, and I'm like, you live there, and you living off of mediocre salary or whatever. So you may be even looking at other opportunities
Come on now.
coming up, okay? And then therefore you're getting these lures, you know, the bait and switch with, I'm gonna pull you over, I'm gonna collect all this money you got in your pocket, okay? And then the other thing, brothers, if you're gonna be out there hustling, okay, use your head. I mean, if you're gonna be out there until you learn better, because you don't need to do that. So why would you stay out there hustling day to day, taking penitentiary chances, riding around with a stack of money in your pocket, when there are jobs out here that you can go to school for and learn trades that'll pay you 5 times as much as you're out here hustling and taking penitentiary chances.
And don't have to watch your back.
And you don't have to watch your back.
Yep.
Have a peace
Wake
of mind.
up.
Have a peace of mind.
Right.
Figure it out.
I want to piggyback what you said about the career policeman. Recently, there was an officer that got caught in Baldwin County in a squad car trying to score some meth.
What?
Yeah, he was on the
Last
news.
week.
Oh my God.
Last
Are you
week.
serious?
He was a
In the
lieutenant.
for the domestic violence department.
Right.
No.
Right here from Mobile, Alabama.
I can show you, but I can tell you. Google it. You know what I'm saying? So
It's what they do.
you know, it's a lot of corruption going in within that city. Even with the George Graddick situation.
Right. Yes.
I know Bama Rose knows a lot about that because her son is in the system and he's being wrongly done. So would you want to elaborate on that about your son's situation?
Oh, you know we fighting. Ain't no giving up, and we gonna get justice. I'm not worried about it. I just feel sorry for the people who partaked in what was going on. And I want to put this out here. July the 26th, I think it was 2000 and maybe 21. I was just sitting there and I was at the court and I was so dumbfounded. And I'm like, Lord, what is going on? Because, you know, I pray about everything. You know, I do my thing, but at the end of the day, I love the Lord and I keep him first. And I was sitting there and I was looking, and it's like they took my son in a courtroom and they slaughtered him. You know, they closed the doors, won't let no family in. You got Judge Graddick sitting with the district attorney. You got the judge on Peter. He came off the bench in the courtroom now, but then he let Judge Stout get on the bench to try the case. I mean, everything that was done, it was horrible. It was all wrong, broke all the laws, you know, and they locked us out because they knew our extent. Now, I got a beautiful daughter here, work for the sheriff department. She was fired.
What?
She was fired. It's a district attorney who worked in a district attorney office right now. His name is Christopher Coy Morgan. Morgan was charged with domestic violence in Orange Beach the same year that he found my son guilty for those charges. He got my son found guilty on those charges. But he beat his wife while she was pregnant in front of her son. Stayed 24 hours in the Baldwin County Correction Facility, and because they let him use his immunity, his cases was swept up under the rug. Now, we know that when you commit a crime, as anybody in office, you are supposed to be tried as your regular capacity. You're no longer a DA now. You is a criminal because you committed a crime. So how does this man get a chance to go in a courtroom and try somebody on the same case that they just swept under the rug for him? On top of that, he put fake charges on my daughter's record, said that she was smuggling in contraband. And once we did claims and different fought different people and stuff, we got a chance to get her record and found out none of that stuff was even on her record. So how could you use all of this stuff against her when it wasn't even true?
Wow.
He falsified documents. He forged records. I had him still got him in a loop right now, forging records. I'm talking about, if you look at it, you will label like, they did this?
It's amazing.
They really did this? Everything up under the sun, because they gonna be made out of example. You know what I'm saying? They can look at me and say, oh, she being in and out of jail, she did this, and I did. And I did what I had to do. It is what it is.
Right.
So if I broke the law and I got punished for it, if you break the law, you know better than me.
That's correct.
Right?
That's right.
So we gonna hold them accountable just like they held everybody else that they locked up accountable.
Absolutely.
Ain't nobody above the law. It ain't a judge, a lawyer, nothing, but you got an innocent child who fought to get in this position to better her life. And you put false charges on her so you can use false evidence on a trial.
That's crazy.
And he did that. And they allowed him to do it. And on top of him doing it, this man was so evil because I was telling, I'm going toe to toe with him. So he got in touch with this man. His name is Roman Shaw with the Alabama Bar Association. Was telling him, oh, her son bad, he this criminal, he this, he that, or whatever, to get the man not to do his job on the paperwork with the Alabama Bar. And that's when I mean when they got favors. They call their people to do certain things when they know they did something wrong, or we gonna overlook this, oh, this, that case. So when I told Roman Shaw what was going on about my daughter, he got angry. He called the Navy office, got this child kicked out the Navy.
That's messed up.
Got this baby kicked. Don't you know, my daughter big bone. You know, she had to lose enough weight to get taped to the right measurements in order to even be in the Navy.
Right.
She went through pure hell to get there. And then for somebody to give a phone call and say, hey, we letting you go because your tape was off. And she said, what you mean? I haven't been taped. She was already in and everything. This was his doing. Wouldn't give her no information. Wouldn't give her no answers.
They're ruthless. They're ruthless. And that's more reason that we as a people need to come together.
Right.
Because we are bait for them.
Right.
And if we continue to be distracted by nonsense, material things,
That
things
don't
that
even
don't
matter.
last, things that don't matter, while they live
The best life.
lavish life. We're talking, they're getting the yachts and we're getting the cots.
Come on now.
Okay?
They ain't
So-
even no cots because half of them don't have no mattress. Them
No
mattresses be so
mattresses.
thin.
They're getting billions of dollars to keep you incarcerated.
It's the
Billions.
Billions.
modern day slavery.
Per life
Yeah,
sentence.
slavery.
Did you hear about the warden at Limestone prison that was providing drugs
Contraband.
into the prison up there? He and his wife.
You know how much money they was
Manufacturing
making?
drugs. Oh my God. And let's not leave out the body organ.
Oh yeah.
Let's not leave out how many brothers that die in prison.
Mysteriously.
And you got body brokers out here getting hearts and liver and kidneys for these rich folk.
Right.
I have a friend that lives in Virginia. Her son, bless his heart, was shot in the back of the head, mistaken identity. And that's another thing. Brothers, stop killing another brother. You've got to stop that.
You gotta stop it.
You've got to stop killing another black man that looks like you. You've got to. Her son was shot in the back of the head at a red light, mistaken identity. He is bedridden now. She has to do a bowel program
My God.
on him every day to help him use the bathroom. 28 years old, you ruin this family's life. Not only do the graves get filled, but look at the situation that comes behind victims that are shot, having to wear coloscopy bags, missing body parts, never the same. They may have lived, but you disfigured them for the rest of their lives. So we are the laughing stock of the planet.
Right.
Every other nationality
exactly what they
is
do.
advancing and succeeding but us, because we're so distracted by what they feed us on TV, some of the lyrics in these songs. I was watching a video someone showed me of a relative of theirs. He's a young rapper. And I mean, I love rap music. I love it. But to see the generation that we have now with machine guns, you know, it's common to lay you down and shoot you and kill you and think nothing of it. It's a fashion statement. How did we get here? You know, we are descendants from greatness. You know, they're not teaching that in
only
our
one.
schools
Oh no.
for our children to have more pride and respect for who they truly are, because they don't really know who they are.
Right.
When you got third graders not reading on a third grade level,
Horrible.
something's wrong. And parents, you cannot depend on teachers to do all the homework. You have got to raise your children from the time you give birth to them to start learning.
That's right.
Be responsible for the life that you brought on this earth. It's your responsibility
That's
first.
true. That's right.
Right. You know, I see my perception. This new generation, they are raising their children to be like friends and not like less disciplined. And when they get older, they fear their child because they didn't instill discipline in them. So that a lot of that I see in the community. You know, what can we do to make these parents be parents? Because a lot of these adults in Mobile are immature.
They got to be tired. They got to
They're
have
very
to.
immature, and many. And I am not putting my people down because I'm definitely trying to raise you up. But if you cannot read, how do you expect your child to read? How do you know what they're reading if you can't sit down and open up a book and read a few sentences with them? You know, if you're stuck on your phone 24 hours a day, at least read something that is going to educate you enough to go back and educate your child. You know.
And absolutely, and anything that you want to research or learn about, you can simply just Google it. You know, you can't go by what they teach you in Mobile Public County schools because everything's about slavery. We came up from slavery not knowing that we had Africans come to America way before Columbus and settled here. We are the indigenous people. We are the Native Americans.
And we got to realize, I'm going to tell y'all something. We got to realize that the reason why they stole us is because we did so good with our land. When they came and they saw what was going on in our crops and how everything was so beautiful, they tricked us into getting on those ships to get us over here. You know, it's going to be like this or this, that, or whatever. And slowly but surely, they started getting people and it, you know.
It's kind of deeper than that.
Yeah, it's deeper, but that's the motto of this is how it started because we wasn't from here. We are originally Hebrew people. And we are the best people. We are God's chosen people at that.
We are.
And a lot of people don't know that. And I'm going to speak from a place where when you don't have a knowledgeable background, when you don't have people to instill in you greatness, when you be kicked down and you got to try to find a way up and you just don't know. You know, I'm going to speak on that because I lived like that for a long time, you know, and when people see that you have potential, it's a lot of people get jealous of that.
True.
Even family members.
Oh yeah.
And they will they will degrade you. They will make you feel bad and make you feel so neglected. So you looking for that high. You looking for something to make you validate who you are as a person. You know, and when it comes to the school systems, anybody can tell you, like, a lot of people remember me from school because I was very courageous when it came to school and my kids because mine wasn't going to go through what I went through. You know, even though they had to go through some little ups and downs, but at the same time, it ain't nothing like what I went through. But what I can say is, it's some evil teachers. Even when it comes to mental health, they treat those people so bad. Make you don't want to ask for no help. Make you don't want to be a part of nothing. I mean, that's why a lot of people don't get the help that they need that's out there for them. You know, it's because of how they are treated, how it's presented, you know, and they make certain people feel like, hey, I don't want this. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to do this. Because of the way it's presented to them. You know, I had this young lady. I don't remember how old she was, but I literally seen her in a courthouse crying, bawling her eyes out. And me, I like to fix stuff. That's just me. So I'm like, I scooted over by. I'm like, what's going on? I literally took this girl's mom in my house, not knowing her, not knowing the lady. But I did all of that because I wanted to make sure that if I can wipe a tear for somebody, I can do that. If I could take her to her mental health appointments, you know, because she gonna be safe with me. And she did all that until the family said, hey, we want her back. You know what I'm saying? But it's people, you gotta have that heart to do that. You know, some people, she don't want nothing. They might do want it. Some people don't even know how to receive it because they've been doing so wrong. And, you know, every time they try to put their hope in somebody, they let them down because, you're gonna have to do this for me. There's women out here that they'll pick you up off the streets acting like they're gonna help you because they want you for their husband or they want you for their son or something of that nature, their dad or something of that. Because women, you gotta be there to understand, women gets jealous of other women for some odd reason, or I would say for no reason. You know, you this person and you just want to be loved and treated like everybody else, but at the same time, you got our own people that will tear you down. You know, we have to start with one another, you know, and I go back to the house. We have to start, but we have to be taught. Everything is really messed up, you know. We just gonna have to pluck everything up and start from the beginning because we need some real women leader figures that's really about that life, you know, ain't scared to get their hands dirty, and I ain't mean it in the wrong way, but to say, hey, you know, I want to help you, we're going to do it like this, and really mean it in their heart. Because people, what I know, they feel genuineness. They feel when you real, they feel when you fake, you know. And if we can help people to get to that other level in life, you know, that would really be a blessing, you know. But we gotta, you know, fix ourselves. Some of these people I'm talking about with the social work and stuff, it's horrible. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. I've never seen nothing like it. And like I said, it is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. You know, I had this child, and I'm not going to get all the way into it, but I had this baby. She was only about, I think, 12 years old. And I was fighting a case with my grandson, so they didn't want the child with me because they didn't know they even put the child in my care, because the lady just called me and asked me to help her, and I did that. And the social worker got in touch with the teacher, and the child had a mental illness. Do you not know that this teacher was putting this child close to her and telling her people were saying stuff to her to get her to blurt out because her mental health had changed? Because when she was in my care, she wasn't considered as crazy anymore because they was looking like, what happened to her?
I don't mean to cut you off, but they get a lot of money. The school system gets more money for kids that are labeled to be slow or special.
And I didn't know that.
Oh yes, I learned that here recently through the same friend of mine whose son is bedridden. Her grandson, they were trying to label her grandson as being special. And because he couldn't say the R word, the aura, like the letter aura, he couldn't say words with that out, fluent.
Right.
So they want to label him, he's 7 years old, as being special.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, because she's so smart, you know, she did her homework and got the statistics on the numbers of how the school system, even here in Alabama, all over this United States, they get more money for children that they want to label as being retards or special. Okay, and that also feeds into the school to prison pipeline.
Come on,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We can talk about this all day.
People die.
Super corny.
Beef is stupid. Us fighting each other is dumb. Period. Stay the fuck away from all of that shit. What I learned is this is a program that they enjoy for entertainment.
Sit back and watch.
But you got to think about it. When laws were passed to be made for hundreds of years, not for 10, 20. And laws were made fresh off of people having slaves. Right. So most of the time, those people were like, oh shit, what are we going to do? It's illegal to have slaves. You got to get them to be slaves again. Let's make laws that they cannot actually abide by, keep them broke so they fight each other all day, kill each other, go to jail, so that way they can now put you back in shackles, back in the cage, and make you work for a slave wage. Instead of master, let's call it warden or CO. And now it's completely legal. It's a program that must be broken. Do you notice that courthouses, jails, schools, and hospitals all look exactly the same?
Yep.
You think that's a coincidence?
Nope.
Why wouldn't a school be on like a beach or like someplace nice, or a hospital be someplace inviting? What rehabilitation can you give someone from putting them in a cage and treating them like a dog? I don't get it, but I do get it. I don't expect my oppressor to give me anything. Especially freedom.
Yep.
And the thing about freedom is it's cheap, but it's priceless at the same time. Ask someone that doesn't have it.
It's the 45 Live podcast. Before we go any further, I want to talk about the Gulf Coast Challenge and the Port City Classic going down. We got a whole week of events going on at both classics. We got the Gulf Coast Challenge, which will be Jackson State, Alabama A&M, and we got the Port City Classic, which will be Alabama State and Alcorn. So we asking everybody to come and support these events for us, by us, HBCUs. I support HBCUs. So you know what I'm saying? Come out, buy a ticket, just don't tailgate. Buy a ticket, buy the youth football team, you know, tickets, you know what I'm saying? Get them the experience. High school kids, you know, let them get the HBCU experience, and you know, so they can be encouraged to go to HBCU. Because I went on a trip to Jackson State for a game, and that very big, you know what I'm saying, the sonic boom, it encouraged me to go there. So I'm an HBCU product of Jackson State University. So shout out to all the HBCUs, the sororities, and black fraternities out there. Now we're back. We're talking more about incarceration, corruption in the city, and all kind of things that is hindering our black race. We were talking about before we got back, you know, after we left, after the break, we were talking about the schools, about just parents not reading to their kids, and the kids not reading on third grade level. You were talking about how they take the kids that are mentally challenged and they can get a check off of them.
Well, I was also saying that, yes, that the system is designed to try and label as many of our black children to be special need, so that they get more money and finances in these schools for children that are labeled, given that label. That particular label follows your child all the way until adulthood, and as much as your school to prison pipeline, it feeds that also. So if we all take a minute and just really look at the serious conditions that are plaguing our communities with gun violence, every time you look around, we're doing the most horrendous evils that you can think of, and that's not our nature. That is not our nature as God's chosen people. So we have got to step back and take a look at what has led us down this trap.
Right.
And I think you know who it is, and I think you should know why.
Right. It's like we putting the Ku Klux Klan out of business. Or might as well say they got they traded the white suits for, you know what I'm saying, for robes and badges.
Medical jacket.
Yeah, medical jackets, because, you know, I can go all day about the medical. You know, all these diabetes and high blood pressure, and they feeding you all these prescriptions of drugs and everything.
Keep the money flowing.
And keep the money flowing.
Yeah.
But instead of, you know, it being a cure, you know, it's something to keep you, you know.
Pacified.
Yeah, pacified. You know, instead of just curing the disease of what it is. You know, the medical field is something else too.
Natural herbs and
Right.
vegetables and fruit. As people of color, Dr. CB has always said, and others that I follow, you know, speak about the diet. You know, think about it.
You are what you eat.
If you're eating chitlins,
You are chitlins. You are what you eat.
you know, and I'm not gonna lie, I used to eat them years ago with some collard greens
I'm
and
guilty
some
too.
salad and some cornbread. But now that I know better,
Yeah.
I cut the pork, all except bacon now. I cut my bacon.
She been cheating.
My bacon is 100%. But I gave up my pork chops. I gave up ribs. Every now and then I'll cheat a rib or two. Every blue moon. But if we're feeding ourselves the poisons, who can we hold
fast
accountable
food
that.
for
The fast food.
Oh, it's
the
horrible.
meat doesn't even taste the same.
it don't. It's fake.
Think about
They
it.
killing us
Rubberish.
slowly but surely.
Oh my God.
And I talked to him last time. Remember I told you about the president has approved with the USDA that they're able to make chicken patties without chicken.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah. So it's getting crazy out
Yeah,
here.
it's getting really crazy, and we have a lot of issues that I know we can cover from global warming. I mean, if you notice how hot it is. I used to
Come on
live in
now.
Boston, Massachusetts, and one of my best friends, she told me that it's been 3 figures in Boston. It used to snow in May in Boston, and now they're getting 3 figures. So, people, for real, now is the time that we better really start shifting
I'm trying to tell
our
you.
habits,
It's time.
what we do,
Growing
on a
our
daily
own food,
basis.
grow-
It's about to be real
Raising our
survival
own
time.
livestock because they poisoning our food. They're poisoning just our water. I mean, it's getting out of hand.
Right. It's more important than wearing red bottom shoes.
And going
Right.
to
We
all the
better-
damn parties, going to every party. I wish, man, y'all killed me. Y'all would party. Y'all would go. Don't hold nobody accountable who done killed somebody in community, policemen. But you'll go to a party in droves, I mean, you know, in droves. You know, I wish y'all would have that same energy for community activism.
Right.
Right.
You
Where's
know,
the outrage?
I party too, but get what? I put that
Right.
same energy into
Right.
community
Absolutely.
activism.
Absolutely.
Where is the outrage?
Yes.
People of color should be angry right
A
now.
grandmother getting killed
Come
in
on
her
now.
bed
Hmm.
while she's sleeping.
All
Our children are out of control.
Out of control.
If you know your child is out here living foul,
Come on now.
if you're using your children to help pay the bills, and you don't care how they go out there and make that money,
contributing.
if your child is on
Right.
Facebook flashing
Guns and stuff.
guns and
Yeah.
stacks of money, why are you doing that?
Some parents think it's cute.
And we talked about
Yeah.
that. And the walking around with the guns. I went up to the store the other day and the boy had a gun hanging out of his pocket. Make you don't even want to go in the store. I just turned
I know,
around.
it's scary.
You know?
It's so scary.
And I
It
heard
shouldn't be that way.
the
It
mayor
shouldn't be that
said
way.
that he was blaming it on the Second Amendment.
Really now. Wow.
The mayor where?
Gardner.
Oh,
Speaking
PA.
of Mayor Gardner
Uh-oh.
and Mayor Street in Pritchard, I admit, there's a seafood market on Mayor Street.
Mhm.
And she has the best seasoning, I give her that. But it is in a really serious, dangerous area.
Yeah,
And I'm
too.
like, you over here getting this seafood?
There were a couple of
And
homicides
it's
happening
been
up
so many homicides there. On a street named after a slave master, Mayor Street, Timothy Mayer, the last slave ship, the ship
there.
Clotilda.
The owner, he was the owner of it.
Yeah, he was the owner. And we're out here killing on the slave
The
master
irony,
street.
the irony.
The irony
Wow.
of that happening. I mean, what is wrong with us? We are so off track.
Yes.
Lost.
Lost.
Thank you. Thank you.
And for us to have holy ground like Africa Town, you would think people in the community would be mindful to respect their holy land, the land around the holy land.
They
you
don't know
what
any
I'm saying?
better.
That is, holy ground. You know.
It's very holy. And then it's so sad that you got Sandy Stimson and the white man coming over there that's going to benefit off the tourism dollars
Come on now.
that's coming in here real soon. While we out here selling dope, we need to learn how to make some damn African attire and hats and baskets
Oh, let me
so
tell you
that
about
when
that.
this tourism kicks in, you instead of you slinging dope, you could be slinging some hats and some baskets
That's
and
right.
make the same $1 million that you trying to make selling drugs. $1, 1 million $1 bills is still $1 million. So we have to start thinking on a bigger, broader perspective.
That's true.
Yeah, I got 2 words for Stimson and his crew trying to, capitalize on our ancestor suffrage. Culture vultures. That's what I call them.
Culture vultures.
And I'm gonna put it out
Culture
there.
vulture.
Yeah, culture vultures. Then
We gotta try that 3 times. Culture vultures.
and then my other word, slave patrol. That's what I
Slave
call.
Patrol, James. created that word.
But
In city council, I mean, I'm so proud of him. And also, I know this may not be the right time to talk about the Nubian Follies. Stay tuned. You have the Coming Cowboys. We have the Nubian Follies.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
See, I didn't know that. We was thinking about something like that. So, okay, I ain't gonna talk about it. I wanna
Yeah.
see what's going on.
We're working
It
on
has been
We're
birthed.
working on the paperwork. I'm supposed to be getting a logo tonight as we speak.
All right.
So
Well, we are getting a
we
logo.
are getting a logo.
Yes.
I'm sorry. My bad. Politically,
right.
Yes,
yeah.
let me be
we are
clear.
tuned.
Let me be clear. This concept was born from myself and 3 other ladies standing before the city council and letting them know that we did not appreciate them for riding and parading down Government Street and Broad Street, celebrating a brother being electrocuted as if he's been shot to death and electrocuted with a taser gun.
That's
So
horrible.
Miss Vicky Howell, an extraordinary writer, she put together an exquisite letter, and it was read to the city council and Mayor Stimson about how we felt about the embarrassment and the pain that they brought forth to that family. That is so disrespectful. The Comic Cowboys are known for saying very disrespectful,
Very disrespectful.
graded comments about us.
Yes.
And we stand there waving at them
Yeah,
and throw
throw
us
us
a damn
something.
moon pie
Pritchett's.
when
That's
they're
how they spell Pritchett.
embarrassing
With the
and
2
saying
T's.
such, yes.
When we should be throwing something at
At
them.
them.
Exactly.
But
We
they'll
should be-
put you in jail for that.
Exactly, they will. So Nubian Follies
So don't do
coming
it.
soon, standing up and representing what we need to say.
Right.
Our clap back.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that. Thank you, Pat, for bringing that up.
Right.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of things that we could do that's positive in our community because there's so much negativity going on. And this podcast, this platform is to uplift our people. That's why I call it the people's platform.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of dialogue that needs to be talked about that we will be going on, in the future. And I just can't thank Dirty Dan enough for providing this platform on Alabama Hip Hop Radio.
Right.
Because this is needed. Hopefully we can educate our people to do better because we got a lot of issues that we need to come with solutions for.
Right.
Yes.
ASAP.
Thank you, James, for having me.
Yeah, you got any last word, Miss Law?
I guess I would just like to end by saying thank you, James, for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Bama Rose.
Thank you for being our first guest. But like I said, she's part of the team
Dirty
too.
Dan, and I will be a part of the team.
Yeah.
And she also has her own. She also has her own podcast called
Coming soon.
Tribal Issues
Yes,
Podcast.
back
Would you
soon.
like to tell them about your podcast before we?
Actually, there's 2. There's Tribal Issues Podcast. We did a videotaping day before yesterday. Also, I will be working with Greg Cyprian with another project, and it will be called Sharing Moments After Dark with Pat Law.
Okay, that sounds good. Also, talk about your venues.
For those of you who may not know, I have the Broadway venue that's downtown Mobile. It's a historical property built in the 1800s. Very proud of purchasing that property and renovating it to be a landmark for our people. When I purchased the home, it was such an experience to walk through the door, and I could just feel the presence of some of our ancestors that I'm sure worked in that home as servants.
Wow.
So it's a very proud moment to have that property sitting there looking like the White House,
All right.
Black House, the White House, Black House.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
stand out by the roundabout
Yes.
on Broad Street.
Yes, it
and
does.
and the parade comes by there. So
Yes.
if you want to book it, holler at me. I am a booking agent.
It's a booking agent.
And
That's
also
right.
Moments.
And we have Moments. It's on Moffett Road. Beautiful spot. I want to say my dear friend that passed away, A.C. Smith, did some beautiful work inside the building a couple of months before he passed. And so a very, very nice spot. I think it gives you the feel of like a New Orleans, Italy kind of touch.
Okay.
I do a lot of interior decorating, so I kind of put my foot in it. I think you'll like it. We made it comfortable and affordable. So when you're looking for a nice spot to come and have a nice gathering, we're the place for you.
And she's a florist as well.
Master.
Master florist. My bad.
For her flowers.
Well, we thank y'all. This has been the 45 Live Podcast. Thank you again, Miss Pat Law, for coming, for being our guest. Thank you to my co-host, Bama Rose. You know, she's going to be my right-hand person for future shows. So y'all, you know what I'm saying, stay tuned. I am J-45, Mr. Key to the City, everything pretty. The host of the Gulf Coast, the Alabama hippie, east of the mighty muddy Mississippi. And it's hammer time. Bow.
All right. Who ain't